I would like to welcome Mr. Sunil Mathur, MD and CEO, Siemens Limited, to deliver the keynote address on merging avenues for MSME for today's conclave. Mr. Mathur is the MD and CEO of Siemens Limited since 2014. In this role, he is responsible for Siemens in South Asia. He is currently a member of the global leadership team of Siemens, chairman of Siemens Energy Limited and C&S Electric Limited. He is also the member of board of directors of Siemens Healthcare Private Limited and Torrent Power Limited. Prior to 2014, he was the executive director and chief financial officer of Siemens Limited. He was a member of the global finance management team. Mr. Mathur has been with Siemens for over 38 years, holding several senior management positions in Germany, where he worked under power generation division as also as chief financial officer of a global business unit in the industrial automation division of Siemens AG. He has worked in Germany, United Kingdom, and the United States apart from India. He is the chairman of the Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, National Commission on Multinational Companies. He is also the member of Executive Committee of Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce, FICCI. He was previously chairman of CII Western Region, chairman of CII Smart Manufacturing Council, and president of Indo-German Chamber of Commerce and Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I would like to welcome Mr. Mathur to please deliver the keynote address.
Good evening, and thank you for this invitation, Sandeep and Mr. Srinivasan. I think never before has there been such an exciting time for MSMEs here in the country. When you look at the subject here, we are talking about a changing world, we are talking about trade, we are talking about technology. And in a way, all of these three are interlinked. Let's start with what's happening in the changing world. I think it's pretty evident that geopolitics is changing almost by the day. It is also true that new regulations are coming in, both on standards as well as on tariffs, as well as cross-border trade. It is also true that sustainability is becoming a major element to be thinking about. It is also true that customers that were major customers yesterday are no longer customers today, and we are having to find alternate customers. It is also true that supply chains that were hugely relied upon in the past are no longer reliable. Suppliers that were traditional suppliers of all our companies, all your companies, are now struggling to supply you in time. It is also true that commodity prices have changed from 50% increase to 150% increase. It is also true that the rupee has depreciated 20% in the last couple of months. And then you turn around and say, with all these elements hitting us, how are we supposed to do business? As an MSME, as a company, it doesn't matter what size you are, but how do you do business at all, and more importantly, do business in a way that is profitable? Because that's why we are all here. It has to be profitable business. But with all these changing environments, with all the volatility that we are looking at, how do you actually do business in a profitable manner? And these are really questions that are real. When you look at trade barriers coming in across the world, you look at governments across the world focusing on their own made in their own country. How do you gain entry into these countries? How does your export business actually penetrate some of these countries? And these are all questions, by the way, that are confronted not only by MSMEs, but large companies as well. And I think when you look at what is happening around you and you see where we are in India, it is fair to say that we are in an amazingly exciting situation in India. In the last 10 years, 90 airports have been built. 37,000 kilometers of rail network have been built in the last 7 years. To put that in perspective, that is equivalent to the entire rail network of Germany. When you look at the energy requirements, we are now at close to 600 gigawatts of energy. The expectation of the country is, if we continue to grow, we will grow to 1.2 million gigawatts of energy, 1.2 gigawatts of energy in the next 1,200 gigawatts of energy in the next 5 to 7 years. That's doubling our energy generation capacity. I put that in perspective again. Germany has 300 gigawatts of installed capacity. In the next 7 to 8 years, we will double 2 Germanys of generation capacity will be installed in the country. We will double our transmission requirement. 520,000 circuit kilometers of transmission lines will go to over 1 million in the next 7 or 8 years. Distribution network will, in every single state, will have to be upgraded and brought in. 60 more airports are coming up in the next 5 years. That's 12 airports a year, 1 a month. When you switch to manufacturing, the government's aim is to increase the share of manufacturing from 15% of GDP to 25% of GDP. Let me put that in perspective. The GDP today, $4 trillion, 15% of that is $600 million. If we have to grow to 25% of GDP at a 7% growth rate, let's just take $5 trillion as a number. 25% of $5 trillion is $1.25 trillion. We will add $600 billion of capex coming into the system in the $600 billion of contribution to GDP out of manufacturing coming into the system in the next 5 to 7 years. That means at least double that amount in capital expenditure. We're talking about close to $1.5 trillion of capex coming into the system in the next 7 to 8 years. There's no other country in the world that is doing that. That is the extent, ladies and gentlemen, of the opportunity that medium companies, small companies, and large companies have here in the country, independent of what's going on in the geopolitical environment. $1.5 trillion of capex for small and medium enterprises is one of the hugest opportunities that any country has anywhere in the world. When you look at what's happening in the infrastructure environment and when you look at what the plans are for manufacturing, the question is, how do you do that? What's happening in the world of manufacturing? Just to take an example. $1.5 trillion of capex to do that is not going to happen on its own. Countries around the world will be coming into India because this is the only country that is doing capex over there. The opportunities for small and medium enterprises will be huge. But, and there is a huge but, technology is taking over. And I come to the next part of the headline there. Technology is taking over. It is now possible to manufacture in Europe and America and parts of Asia already at a efficiency level, productivity level of 99.9%. The average efficiency level of manufacturing in the country is 75%. There is no way that you will be able to bridge that gap of 25% productivity just through skilled labor. This will require technology. And let me put this in perspective. 25% productivity means it is actually cheaper to manufacture abroad in Europe than it will be in India unless we use technology to bridge that gap of 25%. The opportunity for companies is huge. $1.5 trillion. There's a business case in it in itself. But it is up to all companies here in the country to step up to that challenge, to step up to that opportunity. Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. $1.5 trillion of manufacturing spend happening in the country, and all of us can be a part of it. But it will require three things. The first is technology, and we will have to learn to adopt technology, establish partnerships with companies within the country, but more importantly, companies outside the country. The second requirement will be innovation. India spends 0.7% of its GDP on R&D. Unless we are able, as companies here, to step up in our R&D efforts. Some of the developed countries are spending 4 to 5% of their GDP on R&D. The only way we can be competitive in manufacturing and in our exports is through innovation. And that's going to be the second requirement. The third is going to be skill development. We are going to have to step up and train ourselves first, train our people next, and then train the ecosystem in which we are working to skill up to the latest technologies that are available in the world today. And by that I mean AI, industrial AI. By that I mean how you can do more with less. We have a plant that I've spoken often about here in Mumbai. We were manufacturing 80 variants of contactors on 3 production lines. The competition had many more. But every time you wanted a new variant or a couple of new variants, you needed additional production lines. The capex requirement for that was huge, and there was no business case for it. And then we said, let's use industrial AI and let's use digitalization. Long story short, we went from 80 variants on 3 production lines to 180 variants on 1 production line. We went from 13 quality checks to 52 quality checks. We went from a production cycle time of 21 seconds down to 9 seconds. Think what that means for small and medium enterprises who are strapped for cash, strapped for capex, have the capability to address a global market, but don't have the space, don't have the funds, don't have the capex to do it. Technology is the answer. And the sooner we are able to adopt that, the sooner the SMEs who can be the backbone of India, and indeed today are the backbone of India, 50% of India's exports are done by small and medium enterprises. But if this has to continue, it will mean that small and medium enterprises are going to have to step up in these three areas that I just spoke about. It's a great problem to have. It's a great opportunity to have. And we don't have to look at exports alone. The Indian market is large enough, broad enough, and deep enough, and there is enough in it for everybody. The challenge is up to us. I don't believe if your order books are full, if your factories are full, that you will be worrying about ease of doing business. I think that is a hygiene factor. I don't think your first priority at that point in time will be where to get financing from. That will come. The challenge and the opportunity for you is to fill your order books. And those order books will only be filled when you are able to be integrated into supply chains of larger companies with technologies and innovations that you have to offer that will give you an opportunity that nobody can refuse. Indian entrepreneurs are known for their ingenuity and their adaptability. You are known for your ingenuity and your adaptability. And I believe never before has there been a window of opportunity that we have than right now. When you talk about trade, with all the trade agreements that have been signed by the country, this opens up an avenue with countries that we have never had the opportunities of trading before. But again, it boils down to technology, innovation, and skilling. Unless we are able to focus on that today, we will not be able to encash on this window of opportunity, which I believe is a 5 to 7 year window only. Today is the opportunity, and I hope you use the opportunity for the rest of the day to get real insights in what is possible for each one to really step their game up. This is no longer a nice to have. Technology, innovation, and skilling is no longer a nice to have. It is going to be an absolute imperative to keep ourselves competitive and ahead of the global market. If we don't do it here in India, our global competitors will be able to do it because they are adopting technologies at a speed and scale that we have never seen before. But as Indians, we are the software center of the world. We have been the software center of the world. We aspire to be the manufacturing center of the world. If we can bring software and hardware and bring them together, nobody can beat this country. Today is the first day of the rest of your lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a thoughtful keynote address. I request our chairperson of MSME Forum, Mr. Rajan Raje, and co-chairperson, Mr. R. Srinivasan, to please present a memento to Mr. Sunil Mathur as a token of appreciation. A round of applause for Mr. Mathur.
As Mr. Mathur was saying, he said that why a memento for me, because I'm a part of Bombay Chamber, and that's the truth. I mean, he's been always there whenever we needed him, whenever we needed his advice, support, and everything. So thank you very much once again, Mr. Mathur.